Good evening everybody, and you are very welcome along to Monday night's late night agenda here on the Anfield Agenda. I'm your host Craig, and you are all very welcome along to what is going to be an absolutely jam-packed show tonight. We've got so much stuff to get through. We will of course be talking about Thiago. We will be letting you guys know who our special guest will be tomorrow night a little bit later on as well. We'll be talking about some of the nonsense rumours that are out there, the upcoming friendly against Salzburg, and lots of bits and pieces in between. As always, thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you're new to the stream, because we guarantee that you'll enjoy it. We don't really, but we'll try our best. What else can we do? Look, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off tonight's stream by congratulating Bayern Munich. They did dethrone Liverpool as European champions officially last night after defeating Paris Saint-Germain by 1-0. And look, I'm going to be blunt about this. I'm absolutely delighted that Bayern Munich won it and that Qatari FC didn't win the game, or Qatar FC I should say, because I don't like people buying stuff. I don't like the idea of Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain basically being governmentally run and going out there and having vast amounts of funds to try and create these super squads. So well done to Bayern Munich, who I believe their starting 11 last night was something less than €100 million or something like that, or 100 million quid compared to the vast riches spent by Paris Saint-Germain. So look, congratulations to Bayern Munich. They equalled Liverpool's 6th European Cup last night, and Paris Saint-Germain did have a great run through to the final. They didn't really take the chances on the night. Neymar and Mbappe probably going to be replaying those opportunities numerous times in their head, but you know what? Bayern were probably the most deserved winners right throughout that entire little mini knockout tournament and bits in between. So look, we're going to come back next season. We're going to try fight to regain that European title and put number 7 on the badge for the following season. Thank you very much to everyone that tuned in for all our coverage of the Champions League, by the way. But now, from this point on, it is fully Liverpool focused, ladies and gentlemen. We got the European competitions out of the way. Welcome to everyone that's in the chat. Lovely to see you with us. I know there were a lot of people waiting and stuff beforehand. I've got loads of transfer news to get through. I will start off with Thiago in a minute or two. As I did say when I did my intro tonight, we do have a special guest that's going to be joining us live tomorrow night on the channel. We're going to be a few minutes earlier than normal. Tomorrow night we'll be starting at 8:15, and I'm delighted to say that once again we'll be joined by a good friend of the channel, Jan Fjortoft, who will be coming on to talk all things transfers. He'll be giving us his insight into the Gini Wijnaldum situation, into the whole Thiago situation as well, and we'll be doing a little bit of a Q&A. So we're going to do this live, and we're going to give you guys the opportunity later on in that stream to put your questions directly to Jan Fjortoft with regards to anything that you want answers to that's going on around European football, or indeed to do with Liverpool. So if you do have any questions, please get them ready for tomorrow night, 8:15. Delighted to have Jan with us again. I did a little pre-recorded interview with Jan a few months back, you might remember, and it was so much fun. He's a really lovely guy, and again, thank you to him for giving up his time to come on and have a chat on the channel. So look, ladies and gentlemen, how are we? Is there anything that we want to talk about tonight? I can't quite think of it off the top of my head. Hang on. Thiago. Look, I'm starting to get excited. I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. I am starting to get excited about it. The tweets have been going all day. We did know that nothing would happen until the Champions League was over. We did know what the number was. But now I'm going to take you through step by step what seems to be happening, what people are tweeting about, what the big players in the transfer game have had to say around the whole Thiago to LFC. And I'll link that in later on to a little bit I'm going to do around Barcelona and Gini Wijnaldum and stuff as well, along with some other nonsense bits and pieces that have been put out there in the media. But look, I want to start off by seeing what the big boys have to say, the ones closest to this potential transfer. And we'll start off by Christian Falk of Bild, who actually was tweeting, I think, in response to Jan Fjortoft, and he said Jan Fjortoft had asked him about the future of Thiago, and that Thiago did not change his mind after winning the Champions League last night. So a couple of people were worried that perhaps when he got his hands on that Champions League trophy, he was celebrating with his Bayern Munich teammates. He might have thought to himself, actually, you know what? This is quite a good place to be. I might actually go and re-extend my Bayern Munich contract. No, he has not changed his mind. He said the player's future will still be in Liverpool if the club pays the fee to Bayern Munich. We knew this was what's going to happen. We knew that Liverpool are going to have to stump up 30 million euro or something very close to it to get Thiago out of Bayern Munich, and this will be resolved obviously in the coming days when hopefully these negotiations start. Now, I've got more news. It just keeps coming. Der Spiegel, you know we do love a bit of Der Spiegel here on Anfield Agenda. They've also reported that Thiago's time with Bayern Munich is over and that the midfielder is now set for a move to Liverpool. Again, what's important, I suppose, to think about and talk about when you're talking about who's closest to these transfers. Christian Falk, obviously of Bild, who's a publication in Germany. Der Spiegel, obviously a German publication. So these will have the inside scoop, but they will be close to the Bayern Munich camp. Particularly Christian Falk, actually. And then we move on to Fabrizio Romano, another very trusted, well-known source out there. Fabrizio Romano has said similar in that he believes the conversations between Liverpool and Bayern will begin this week over the transfer of Thiago. He went on to say the player has already agreed personal terms with the club and wants to come and play for Jurgen Klopp in the Premier League. I'm getting really excited. I mean, it just seems like it's down to the clubs now. Now, I will link this in later on. I'll do a little piece on Gino and Yaldum, the Ronald Koeman situation and everything that's gone on with Barcelona that kind of links back to Liverpool. It links into Jurgen Klopp a little bit as well, but I'll blow that myth out of the water for you a little bit later on. But with regards to Thiago, look, we're all absolutely blown away by the performances that he's put in for Bayern Munich, particularly in this little mini tournament. I said yesterday it was going to be a battle of the midfield, and I think that Thiago showed the quality that he has, some sensational passing ability, been able to get in there, block off challenges, just everything that we would like in a midfielder, everything Jurgen Klopp would love to work with in a midfielder. I suppose the real question for Liverpool fans has always been, how do we fund it? Is it going to be funded by perhaps moving on Gino and Yaldum, or is it going to be potentially funded by just having a few quid lying around and thinking to ourselves, hey, you know what? This is a reasonable amount of money for a very talented footballer. There had been some links to Arsenal as well, I think, with regards to Thiago, and there had been some links with Manchester City. Those seem to have pretty much gone away. It is Liverpool's race to lose, shall we say, in regards to Thiago, and I don't see us losing it. I know and I understand. I've been in this position like many Liverpool fans around the world last year. We seen the Nabil Fekir situation play out. It looked like he was nailed on to come to Liverpool. It didn't happen. Then, of course, we had the Timo Werner situation. As well as many other Liverpool fans, believed that Werner would probably end up at Liverpool. He didn't. He ended up at Chelsea. I can never say anything is guaranteed because I don't lie to you guys. I always give you honesty, which is what I try to bring to the channel. I would be absolutely flabbergasted, and I said that about a few other transfers, but I'm as close as I can to saying I think this one's going to happen without actually him standing at Melwood, signing it, or holding up the shirt, having signed the contract. It seems like it's a done deal. It seems like it's getting very close. Too many people are saying too many positive things. I've even been keeping an eye on the Echo, who have been very consistent in their stance that they didn't believe Liverpool held any interest in Thiago. But the key phrase that they always use was at this moment, or in this moment in time, or something along those lines. They even seem to be softening up a little bit now in their stance with regard to the style of language and stuff that they're using around the Thiago transfers. And that, well, in my opinion anyway, and a lot of this is just opinion, I think Thiago will become a Liverpool player. I suppose the big question that Liverpool fans will ask next is, what happens with Gino and Yaldum? And I'm going to cover that in a segment I have around Barcelona, Klopp and Koeman a little bit later on in the show. So look, this is the part of the stream where now I'm going to turn to you guys and see what you think. Let me know in the comment section below, if you're watching this back later on, what you think about the Thiago situation. Will he fit in at Liverpool? Do you think that the transfer fee is realistic, around 30 million euro, which is about, I think, 27 million pounds, something like that? And would you be happy if it was a case of Gini out and Thiago in? Right, ladies and gentlemen, over to the comments. What are you guys thinking? What have we got? Don't think it's the funds. I think it's just lowering number of midfielders. That is another very good point, Trevor, that Trevor makes there. And Melissa already mentioned this in an article yesterday or the day before as well, where she said that it's just a case of Liverpool having 7 senior midfielders at the club, and then Grujic and Wilson, who they're willing to move on as well. So it could just be a case that Liverpool need to free up some space in that midfield before going out there and bringing in Thiago, because Jurgen Klopp likes to work with a squad of players that he believes will have a role to play and will genuinely be positive or have a positive impact on the club. So he's not just going to go out there and start rounding up midfielders for the sake of it, but there's a long history of compliments between Thiago and Jurgen Klopp and vice versa. He's obviously very fond of the player. None of us would be happy losing Gini Wijnaldum if that was the case, but I think Trevor nailed it there. It is just a case of freeing up space as well. Liverpool are welcoming offers at this point, it looks like, for Marco Grujic and Harry Wilson. It's believed that we want to bring in somewhere around the £40 million mark for those two, if at all possible. Grujic would be linked with a move back to Hertha Berlin, and Harry Wilson probably won't have any shortage of potential suitors, shall we say, because he's a Premier League quality player. I just don't think that he is a Liverpool Premier League quality player, if you get where I'm coming from. I just don't see him getting to that high echelon that Liverpool are currently looking down on everybody from. Right, more comments. The guy oozes class and swag, said Mo Patel. I love that, mate. He does ooze class and swag, you're right. Buy Thiago and keep Gini until his contract ends, said Claire, and that is an option as well. We do know, we've seen it before with Emre Can, that Jurgen Klopp isn't afraid to let Liverpool players leave their contract. I think one thing a lot of us forget about when a player signs a contract is that when they sign a 3, 4, 5 year contract at a football club, they're committing themselves to that contract. If they choose to run down that contract, they have fulfilled their contract obligations. And Emre Can was a thorough professional while he was at Liverpool, and I wouldn't see Gini Wijnaldum being anything but the same. So if Jurgen Klopp does make the decision that Gini's not going anywhere, he's happy to let him go on a free at the end of the year because he thinks he's got something that he needs, maybe to allow another young midfielder to develop, to see how Curtis Jones gets on or something like that. I don't know. It's there. It's a potential, but again, I will touch on Gini a little bit later on in the stream when I go into the whole Barcelona segment of things. Dylan said, I heard Liverpool are in a race with City for Traore. I do have that to talk about in a moment, mate. I'm just going to try and get through as much of the Thiago stuff early doors as we can. Cubing for Life said, Thiago would raise our profile. He definitely would, mate. I mean, you're talking about a serial winner here. Somebody established international with Spain, somebody who's played with Barcelona, somebody who's won the Champions League again with Bayern Munich, somebody who's just used to winning, somebody who brings that winning mentality, and as somebody said earlier on, just oozes class and swag. I really like that phrase. The fact that Chelsea could go in next season after buying Ziyech, Werner, Havertz, Silva and Chilwell is ridiculous. Puskas is a god, said plastic club. I'm glad Liverpool spend less and do things a bit more legitimately. Look, Roman Abramovich dipped into his pocket and handed a whole pile of cash to Chelsea to go out there and make these transfers. And yes, they did have some money coming in, of course, from sales that they have of Alvaro Morata and the likes, and Eden Hazard as well. But the owner has put his hand in his pocket. There's no two ways about that. I've said to you guys before about the potential, I think it was 150 million or something like that. I think Roman Abramovich has banged down on the table to bolster the transfer kitty there at Chelsea. And as good as the players are that they are bringing in, I mean, Thiago Silva, 1 year contract, I think. Havertz looks like it's going to be €80 million plus 10 million on add-ons plus another 10 million on add-ons. So adding up to €100 million potentially in total there, which is about £85 million, something like that, depending on the exchange rate. Chilwell is a good piece of business for Chelsea, but it's important to note that it's going to take time for all these players to age together, to gel together, to get used to Frank Lampard and Chelsea's system. Some of them to get used to the Premier League, albeit Ben Chilwell won't have that problem. He still has to get used to new surroundings, new teammates, new style of play. And that may take Chelsea a season, perhaps 2 seasons. So as good as the business is that they're doing, I still don't see them as genuine contenders for the Premier League title next season, but I cannot sit here with a good conscience and say that they haven't got out and done some good business, because they have, and I'd be a liar if I said otherwise. But I still back Liverpool and Manchester City to be the 2 dominant forces in England next season. But again, I hope we come out on top, as I do. I hope we come out on top in Europe as well. Right, more of your comments, folks, before I move on to talk about Adama Traore. Is Thiago coming? I've just literally spent 10 minutes going through that one, mate, so I can't go back over that. What about the extra cash we're getting from Barcelona? There is no extra cash from Barcelona. Let me just dispel this myth that seems to be out there amongst some Liverpool fans who seem to think that because Bayern Munich and Felipe Coutinho won the Champions League, that somehow Barcelona are going to owe Liverpool £5 million. That isn't the case. That was only, I believe, if Barcelona won the Champions League while Felipe Coutinho was there. There has been some articles put out there by some established journalists and some very good media outlets putting this to bed to say that Liverpool are not owed now 5 million quid by Bayern Munich because they won the Champions League, because Felipe Coutinho is not a Bayern Munich player. He's a Barcelona player that's on loan at Bayern Munich. So if Barca won the Champions League, then yes, we probably would have been owed the 5 million, but we aren't owed it for Coutinho, so we can forget about that. We can put that to bed because the money doesn't exist. I knew this one was going to come up from Corey. He wants to talk about Luis Suarez. Again, I was going to link that into the Barcelona talk later on, so bear with me because I do have an entire segment coming up in about 15 minutes where I'm going to be talking about Ronald Koeman, I'm going to be talking about Jurgen Klopp, Gini Wijnaldum, Luis Suarez, and how I'm going to knit that entire thing together along with the Barcelona elections and stuff like that. So do stay with us, folks, because that's going to be coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes. Chelsea trying to sign the whole world, said the chosen one. Right, look, let me move on and talk about Adama Traore, because the Mirror believe that Liverpool and Manchester City are both interested in a potential move for the Wolves winger. The report doesn't go into much detail, and I'd be very dubious of us actually spending that much money on Adama Traore this summer, because I've seen figures ranging from 60 million quid right up to like 130, 135 million quid as to what Wolves would want for Adama Traore. And as much as we all admire the player, I just don't think that he's worth that much money in this market, nor do I think that Liverpool are going to dig deep into their pockets to put up that much money. Again, I won't rule out the fact that if Jadon Sancho doesn't go to Manchester United this summer, is there a part of me that believes that Liverpool will want to be part of the conversation next summer for Sancho? Yes, I genuinely do. Which could well play into the fact that we might not be spending a lot of money this summer. I've covered all this before. I mean, when you speak about the owners, sometimes people get very defensive, and I like that about our fan base, and sometimes people go the other way as well, and they want to just stick the boot into the owners. I always try to give a balanced, fair view, because the owners do some very good stuff, and they do some stuff that I disagree with, but they are business people at the end of the day. And if this summer, because of the global pandemic, means that we can't perhaps go out there and splash the cash because we don't know how the club's finances are going to be in the next 3 to 6 months with regards to ticket sales, with regards to the new Nike kit deal, and a few other bits and pieces as well, partnerships and all that stuff, it's difficult to know how much money you have to play with. Whereas, you know, if we sit back, be patient, and make a few additions, maybe somebody like Thiago, we've already brought in Chimicus as a left back, and we'll have many conversations, I suppose, around the centre back situation moving forward. Is Billy Kometia going to be good enough? Is Kiana Hoover going to be good enough? Is Seth Vandenberg going to be good enough? Nat Phillips? Loads of this stuff still to go through as well. So I did warn you, it was going to be a packed show tonight, so keep your questions and comments coming. Loads for us to get through. Super chats are open, super stickers are open, and most importantly, if you want to become a member of Anfield Agenda FC and you want to have your name with the Anfield Agenda logo beside it, click the blue join button or go into the description of the stream and click join there. Becoming a member of Anfield Agenda FC is $4.99 a month, and for that membership you get use of all the custom emojis that we have designed for our members. You also get the badge beside your name. That Anfield Agenda logo will change colour the longer you're with us. Starts out as bronze, then it goes silver, eventually it moves on to gold. And on top of all of that, you also get access to our exclusive Discord group where we talk about all things football related as well. So please do sign up if you want to become a member. We'd love to have you as part of the family. Right, what else have we got? More of your questions before we move on. So is anybody thinking Adama is realistic, or are we all of the belief that it's just more nonsense put out there to try and drive clicks from Liverpool fans? He's going to be amazing, said Evan Chapman. Pearl Chepo said, how much is Thiago? 30 million euro, mate, is the asking price from Bayern Munich for Thiago. So about 26, 27 million pound. Am I worried about United next season? No. Why? What is there to be worried about? I mean, they improved. Absolutely, they improved towards the end of the season. But no, I'm not worried about Manchester United. I still think that there is a gap between Liverpool, Manchester City and the rest. Are they the best of the rest? That'll be between themselves and Chelsea to fight it out for, but I still genuinely don't think that they're realistic challengers. I think they're a year or two away yet, which is why I suppose it's important that Liverpool keep looking forward. And there's two ways of looking forward. You can look forward in the transfer market, you can go and do it what Chelsea are doing, and you can make a few additions like hopefully we're going to do, But you can also recruit cleverly and bring through good young players that we're starting to see get opportunities, like Neco Williams and Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, and these players that the club invest in at an early stage, nurture and bring through. And for me, I love the idea of players that are brought through the academy and get into the first team. But we all do love a shiny transfer, and we all have a marquee signing as well, and it will help with shirt sales, no doubt about that. And if Thiago comes to Liverpool, I think if you tie that into the Nike deal, it makes a lot of sense because he's an established name. He will sell a lot of shirts. I mean, I can see the Thiago 6 shirts already in my head, and we do know that Liverpool get 20% of all sales of Nike Liverpool branded products, so that will help as well, help boost the transfer coffers. And I'm absolutely sure, you know, many times you hear people say, well, sales of the shirts would fund the transfer alone. I'm absolutely certain that sales of Thiago shirts would fund the fee. Now, of course, there is his wages, but as I said earlier on, and Fabrizio Romano and many others mentioned, there doesn't seem to be any stumbling block with regards to negotiations between the players' representatives and Liverpool Football Club. It's rumoured that a 4-year deal has already been agreed. Wages have been agreed. We've spoken before about the fact that he's been looking around the area for homes as well. So everything seems to be in place. Everything seems to be there for Thiago to become a Liverpool player. I'm not going to go full clickbait, and I'm not going to come on here and say done deal, and I'm not going to come on and be the first to claim to have an exclusive. All I ever do is gather up information from credible sources, or what I believe to be credible sources, present them to our subscribers, and we have a conversation about them. That's really what this channel is. So again, give me your thoughts on all things Thiago and all things Liverpool transfer related. Let me just see, I got a message from, it's from Graham. Sorry, I thought it was from somebody else. I did. As I said to you guys, I will have a Barcelona segment coming up in about 5 minutes or so, and I want you guys to stay with me for this one because I think you'll be intrigued by some of it, and it does tie together the Thiago stuff as well. Last thing, the Luis Suarez transfer. He's been told that he can leave Barcelona in this window. I seen a poll ran on a couple of Twitter accounts, and I think the Echo had one on their page as well, asking Liverpool fans if they would take Luis Suarez back at the club. I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comment section and in the live chat as well. Would you take Luis Suarez back at Liverpool Football Club? For me, I would lean to no. I mean, I think I watch a lot of Barcelona, as you guys know, and to me, Luis Suarez is not the same Luis Suarez that he once was. He's nowhere near as effective. And I can see why some people would make an argument to bring him back to Liverpool, but for me, I just think he's too over the hill. I just think it's, unless he was on a really, really realistic wage and he was basically let go for next to nothing or free from Barcelona, for me, that would be a big no-no. But then again, this is all just personal opinion, so please, I'd love to know what you guys think. City are apparently interested in Thiago as well. I did cover this, I think maybe 4 or 5 days ago. So there was a piece on Sky Sports where they brought on one of the correspondents from Sky Germany who was talking about the relationship between Thiago and Pep Guardiola. And when Pep Guardiola came to Bayern Munich, one of the first things he wanted to do was bring Thiago in. He was the one player he wanted to bring to that Bayern Munich team. But apparently at the end of the Pep Guardiola's time at Bayern Munich, the relationship, I won't say it was a bad relationship. I'm not going to say it's toxic or they fell out, but I don't think it's as strong a bond as it once was. So I don't see Manchester City being realistic players in this transfer for Thiago. I think it's Liverpool's to lose. I genuinely do. Not that I think we are going to lose it, by the way. Craig, when would you say a fee would be agreed? It shouldn't take that long, to be honest with you. I mean, the complicated side of these things are always to do with the actual contracts. You're talking about image rights, you're talking about agents' fees, you're talking about probably other stuff with regards to Nike and what other products or what other brands that Thiago would work with. Loads of stuff that us mere mortals don't have to deal with on a daily basis. So the transfer fee end of it is pretty much being set, and I can't see there being too much leeway given from Bayern Munich. Similarly, I've heard that Liverpool are looking for around 22 million for Gini Wijnaldum, and that is a fee that is probably realistic of if we were to sell him, that would be a number that we potentially look to bring in for Gini. So it's all relative, I suppose, ladies and gents. Right, what have we got? No to Luis Suarez, to somebody else. No. Lots of no's there on Suarez. Suarez doesn't want to get rotated, so Giants Nation. Fernando said I'll be gutted if Liverpool fail to sign Thiago. I think we will sign him, mate. I'm getting more confident as each day goes by. Dara Azizi said that he'd take Robbie Fowler over Luis Suarez. I like that, mate. Well played. I'd say it'll be announced this week, said Kieran Shield. Who would you replace Mane and Salah with? I'm not getting into the who would I's, mate, because Mane and Salah are Liverpool players and I want them to remain Liverpool players as long as possible. So I'm going to move on. But look, I'm going to move on to the Barcelona section now that I did tell you guys I was talking about. And before I get really stuck into this, I just want to let you guys know again, for those that are coming in late, tomorrow night at 8:15 we're going to have a live stream with Jan Fjortoft where we're going to be talking about Thiago. We're going to be talking about the European transfer window. We're going to, of course, be talking about Liverpool. But most importantly, we're going to give you guys an opportunity to write your questions and put them forward towards Jan. And we'll do that live on stream tomorrow. We'll pick out the best questions, put as many as we can to Jan in the time that we have. So again, 8:15 tomorrow night. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on. I've always enjoyed chatting with Jan. He's great fun to have a conversation with. And thank you to him for giving up his time to come on and have a chat with us. So look, Barcelona and the whole situation that I'm sure you've seen over the past week or so, it's a very complex situation what's going on now at Barcelona. So as we know, they did replace Sadio with Ronald Koeman as manager on a 2-year contract. So I have good friends that work in the Spanish media, shall we say, and I don't want to name drop on the channel. People know who they are. So I reached out to a few of these people to ask about the situation and what's going on there at Barcelona. And what I can gather is happening is Ronald Koeman has been brought in to be a steady guiding hand. The Barcelona presidential elections are going to take place next March. And there's a lot of people running their mouths saying a lot of things to try and get a lot of fans on side. As you can gather, good PR for any of these potential candidates moving forward will hopefully help them in their potential bid to become the president of Barcelona Football Club. So one of these people is a guy called Jordi Farr, and he's been talking about the fact that he's held conversations with Jurgen Klopp about becoming Barcelona manager. It's complete nonsense. He is not going to be becoming Barcelona manager, nor will Jordi Farr becoming Barcelona president. It's just not going to happen. I will let you guys know who the front runner and the person that looks almost nailed on to become Barcelona president is and what the plan is moving forward there. So what we can first of all say is all this nonsense around Jurgen Klopp to Barcelona, throw it in the bin. It is just pure spin that is simply not going to happen. I don't give you guys promises on anything, but I can promise you that he will not leave Liverpool before 2024 to go and join Barcelona or go and join anyone else unless the club sack him, and that ain't going to happen. So that's just pure spin from that gentleman who's looking to become president of Barcelona and trying to get the fans on side. It's nonsense. It gets his name in the headlines. It's been rubbished by any serious reporter that I've reached out to or that you've seen yourselves on Twitter or on social media. So then we move on to the whole situation with Gini Wijnaldum. Now there is some truth to this and what I'm led to believe. Ronald Koeman and Gini Wijnaldum have a good working relationship from the time at Barcelona, or from, the Dutch national team. And Ronald Koeman is a stopgap. I'm going to make that very clear. Unless he does something extremely dramatic at Barcelona, wins the Champions League, guides them to La Liga and wins the Spanish Cup or something, he's a stopgap for 1 year. The presidential elections are taking place, as I did say to you guys, in March. And the guy who looks very likely to win those presidential elections is a fella called, where's the gentleman's name here? Excuse me 1 second. Victor Font. Victor Font is the gentleman who was almost nailed on to win the Barcelona presidential elections. And the reason I told you that Ronald Koeman is most likely a stopgap is because Victor Font wants to bring Xavi back as manager of Barcelona Football Club. Xavi, of course, is employed at the minute and wants to gain a little bit more managerial experience, hence the reason why he wasn't interested in the job this early. But he will, in my opinion, and in the opinion of those that I've reached out to, most likely become Barcelona manager next summer, which means Ronald Koeman will get the chop. He's given a 2-year contract. He'll probably only see one. And as Graham Hunter said on, I think on Sky or one of the TV channels he was speaking on, he expected to be a case where, and I hope this was Graham Hunter that said this. If I've somebody said it on Sky. If I've misattributed this particular thing to Graham Hunter, I apologise. But somebody did say that they expect Barcelona to keep Koeman for 1 year and then to get compensation. And that's pretty much that. So leading it back to Gini Wijnaldum, there is some probable truth to this. It's just going to be a case of what Jurgen Klopp wants to do with Gini Wijnaldum. As we pointed to earlier on with regards to the situation in Thiago, it could be a case that Liverpool need to free up a midfield slot. Now, ideally, nobody would want to get rid of Gini. Who would? He's an excellent person to have around the squad. He's a very versatile midfielder, and he's somebody who Jurgen Klopp goes to. It's somebody who Jurgen Klopp turns to in a lot of the big games. But his contract is running down, so I think Jurgen Klopp's going to have to weigh up and, of course, talk to Gini's representatives around what's best. Will he use the funds from a potential sale of Gini Wijnaldum to Barcelona to fund a move for Thiago? This is just a complete guess, but it makes sense. It does make some sense if it's about numbers as well as bringing in the right players, because it's all very well people saying keep Gini and go and get Thiago, but then we've got 8 senior midfielders at the club and we still have a couple of younger players coming through as well. So as I said, the whole Barcelona stuff, you'll see a lot of things coming out over the next few months. You'll see links to Mo Salah, you'll see links to Sadio Mane, you'll see a lot of spin towards Barcelona. Don't buy into any of it. It's because the presidential elections are coming up, and a lot of it's just going to be complete nonsense, to be quite frank about it. So the Koeman stuff with Gini, there could be something to it, but the rest of it with Klopp and all, just throw it in the bin. It's just not happening, folks. And again, I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comment section below, so please do let me know. And again, I'm going to turn over to the live chat now to see how you guys are feeling. Lone Star Londoner said no need to sell Gini. What have you got? Imagine if Koeman won the treble and still got sacked to bring in Xavi, said Liverpool legend. Look, there's also another factor to this, which is trying to keep Lionel Messi, because as we know, there's been a lot of talk about Lionel Messi potentially leaving Barcelona. I don't see how this happens myself, but if he knows that Xavi could potentially be coming back as manager and it's something that he likes the idea of, that could as well potentially help to keep him at the club. So, keep that in mind as well. Who will become the Dutch manager? Haven't got a clue, mate. Haven't got a clue. Haven't looked into it at all. What have we got? It's definitely certain that we'll get him, said Jamie Wilson, or is it definitely certain that we'll get him? Nothing in life is certain, mate, until the contracts are signed. So I'm not going to come on here and guarantee you anything. I'm giving you an opinion. I'm trying to give you an educated opinion. And as everybody else in the chat is, in my opinion, yeah, Thiago will probably become a Liverpool player. But it is just that, an opinion. What kind of bad to Koeman though? Literally gave up very ambitious Netherlands project to sacked after 1 year. It was his choice. It was his choice. Puskas is a god man. Do you know what I mean? He didn't have to. He didn't have to give up the job at Netherlands. Maybe he's backing himself. Maybe we're all going to be proven completely wrong with Ronald Koeman. Maybe he'll go in there to Barcelona and he'll clear out the dead wood and he'll bring through some younger players and he'll implement some coaching methods that gets the best out of who's there, and everyone will realise, wow, he's the right guy for the job. I doubt it, but he was doing a very good job with the Dutch national team. I absolutely agree with you on that one. It remains to be seen. But he is a very well-respected figure, of course, at Barcelona. It's important to remember that. So whatever happens, I would fully expect Koeman to be treated very respectfully by the Barcelona board, because he has a very good standing at that club, obviously, from his time there. Keita is Gini's long-term replacement, said Claire Allman. I do love me a bit of Naby Keita. I'm not going to lie, man. I absolutely love it. I mean, he's starting to get a few goals as well, as we've seen in a friendly against Stuttgart towards the end of last season. We're really getting to see some glimpses of what we thought we were getting with Naby Keita. So yeah, looking forward to that. Now tomorrow I won't be able to do a watch along of the Salzburg game, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, and my family life, my time just won't allow me to do it. But what I will be able to do is give you guys a match reaction, because I'm going to be able to watch the game, and I will record a match reaction and put it up tomorrow for you guys when the game is over, so please do keep an eye out for that one. There's another massive story tonight that I won't say break, but I'm going to talk about at the end of tonight's stream, and it could potentially be huge. So please don't go anywhere if you're with us at this moment in time, because this story could have a big impact on the future of the club. So keep with me. I promise you it was going to be a busy night tonight, and I'm not lying. But look, let me give a shout out again to everyone that is watching. Please do hit that subscribe button if you are enjoying the stream. Give us a thumbs up as well. Turn your notifications on. As I said to you guys before, super chats are open, memberships are open, super stickers and all that stuff as well. And we've got some other fun stuff we're working on behind the scenes as well, that give us a week or two and we'll be unleashing another fantastic thing for you guys as well. So keep with us here on Anfield Agenda. We're always looking for ways to expand our community, to give you guys more interaction and to just make it a more fun experience to be part of the Anfield Agenda family. So I promise you, we've got something really nice in the works, something I think you guys are going to love. So bear with us, because we don't want to implement that until it's fully ready to go. We want to test it out ourselves, make sure it's good enough for you guys. But yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. What have we got? Kent gave 2 super stickers, mate. Kent? I haven't seen any super stickers. Let me scroll back. Oh, there was one. Sorry, Carl. Thank you, mate. I apologise. I did not see that. Ken Coastal Holiday Let's. Carl did send us a super sticker, mate. Thank you very much. I've only seen the one, but thank you. I can't see the second one unless I've missed it somewhere. I'm scrolling through. But thank you to Carl. I really appreciate that one, mate. Let me break out a little bit of Newlon Voider for you, mate. Just as a little celebratory boogie. You haven't seen Newlon in a while. Here he is. There he is. The mascot of the channel, Mr. Newlon Voider. Go on, son. Bust out a move there. Look at him giving it socks. Big fish, little fish, cardboard box. Man's been partying since we won the league and he just won't stop. I don't know where he gets the energy from. He's a head case. Go on, Newlon, son. Right. Say goodnight to the good folks, Newlon. We're going to have to make you disappear again, mate. But you keep partying, son. Go on. Go on, son. Right. Anyway, back to the chat, ladies and gentlemen. How are Chelsea not getting banned? Haven't got a clue, mate. I'm not even going to get into that. I've given up any hope of FFP ever being implemented or anything with regards to what we've seen in the way UEFA and FIFA handle this stuff. How are you, said Oren. I'm really good, mate. Thank you. Thiago's GD and Kane at 1, said Fabinho or... what is this one? Finbo. Excuse me, Finbo. My apologies, mate. Oh, he did it before we even started, Mark. That's why I didn't see it. That's why I didn't see it. Thank you. Right, look. The big story, there's 2 things I want to talk about, and one is a nice little story regarding Harvey Elliott that I'm sure you guys may or may not have seen, but I'm going to take you through it now anyway. There's a lovely story in the Echo about Elliott. It starts off by him showing his commitment to wanting to improve and wanting to make a good impression in Jurgen Klopp on that training camp in Austria, and that he reported back a week early and was training with the under-23s. Now that's always great to hear. We heard Adam Lallana do that in previous years as well, and I love when players, especially young players, show that hunger and commitment to wanting to improve and make a good impression on the gaffer. So fair play to Harvey Elliott on that one. But the real sweet part of this story comes, so as he's a young man, he was talking with his father and texting back every now and again, but his younger brother, who's 9 years of age I believe, is a massive Liverpool fan, but not only that, a massive Bobby Firmino fan, and all he was interested in was trying to find out anything that he possibly could from his big brother about his favourite player, Bobby Firmino, and that made me smile, because it just goes to show Harvey Elliott is a Red, comes from a family of Reds, and just continues to improve, shine, and just make it look like we have a potential superstar on our hands. I just wanted to bring you guys that story because I thought it was a bit of a good feeling story, and we could do it more of them at this moment in time. So well done to Harvey Elliott, and massive shout out to his younger brother as well, who's a big Bobby Firmino fan, much like myself. Bobby's my own favourite player at the club, so he's got good taste, Harvey Elliott's younger brother. So fair play, young man. Keane said, could Thiago be done as early as tomorrow? Love the vids, by the way. Thank you, Keane. Really appreciate that. With the amount of partying and stuff, I suppose, that Thiago and his Bayern Munich teammates will have gone through, and maybe a little break after that, I don't know if it'll be quite that early, mate, because you know, he's going to have to come over, have a medical, all that kind of stuff as well. But don't you worry about it. If there's one thing we know about Liverpool fans is, if there's a plane on its way, we'll be tracking it. Liverpool fans will be out there. They'll be letting you know. We don't miss a trick, us Liverpool fans. So whenever it does happen, mate, the news will start to break quickly enough about it. So we'll be ready. We'll be ready to go. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on, because we'll be jumping all over it as soon as it does happen. Do you reckon Fabinho will drop back and take the centre-back spot? Thiago will take his spot, said a comment. I did say to you guys before, I read a piece on Liverpool.com where they spoke about the potential of Fabinho being used as a fourth choice centre-back spot. We do, of course, have the options I spoke about earlier on. Young Billy Cometio, Sepp van den Berg, Keanu Hoover and Nat Phillips are all currently Liverpool players as well. So opportunities there for one of those guys to keep impressing Jurgen Klopp and maybe force their way in to become fourth choice centre-back at Liverpool. But Fabinho is an option. He has played centre-back for Liverpool before. We know he's not averse to playing in the back four. He played right back sometimes during his career as well. So I mean, it wouldn't be the most ideal scenario, but yeah, in theory, Fabinho could drop back if we were stuck playing that centre-back role, and Thiago could then slot in front of that back four, act as a shield, and kind of play that quarterback role, spraying out passes, keeping the game. I'm getting excited as I'm talking about this. I'm not even going to lie to you. The more I think about Thiago kind of being that Xavi Alonso-esque kind of regista in there, moving the ball through midfield, I didn't fully appreciate the brilliance of Thiago until I really started watching Bayern Munich, to when we were linked to the guy. Always knew he was a very good player, but never really paid much attention to him outside of watching him play with Barcelona as part of a team. But when you really focus in on somebody and you start to watch the small little details, the subtle little glances, how quickly he moves the ball, how well he reads the game, how he seems to see things that other people don't see on the pitch, that's a sign of a world-class player. And Thiago has all the ability in the world. So yeah, it's exciting times at Liverpool Football Club, ladies and gentlemen. I've heard that Messi's release clause is 2 packets of Chewits and a Ford Cortina. He did have that clause in his contract that he could have left for free. I think that expired in May or something like that. It's a strange clause to have in that Barcelona contract, but it was in there, but it has expired. So I think I can attribute this one to Graham Hunter. I think he said that Messi, if he was to be sold this summer, could probably still command the fee of around €100 million. And as Hansi Flick said when he was being interviewed, or not Hansi Flick, Thomas Tuchel, excuse me, when he was being interviewed, he was asked about PSG going for Messi, and he kind of just laughed and half brushed it off and said, what coach in the world wouldn't want Messi? I'm sure Klopp will give the same answer on any other manager, because he is Lionel Messi, you know what I mean? He might be getting older, but he is still Messi, and he would still be a massive massive coup for any potential manager out there. Any news on Matip? There was rumours that PSG were showing an interest in him. Not that I've seen, Rahul, nor do I think he'll be going anywhere. He did sign a new contract, don't forget that, which is something we need to give our owners credit for. I, like everybody else, loves to see transfers and stuff, and we like to see players brought in, but it is important that we reward and keep happy the players who are at the club, and that we've done that magnificently well. We've brought players in and given those that have contributed to the success that we've had under Jurgen Klopp much needed improved contracts, which they've all earned. It does still, though, baffle me the whole how Genie situation got to this point. I have to say, that does baffle me a little bit. Sam Southall, how are you, buddy? He said, yo, Craig, my friend, the UK are in a severe weather warning. So are we. This is a severe weather warning for rain over here in parts of Ireland, and wind as well over the past couple of days. But I hope everybody stays safe and well as always. And look, I did say to you guys that I was going to finish the stream tonight with a potential massive story that could have really big implications for Liverpool Football Club moving forward. I seen somebody put it in the chat earlier on, but I didn't want to mention it because I hadn't got to that point. So here's something that you guys might find very interesting indeed. The man made famous by the whole Moneyball system is Billy Bean. Billy Bean, at the time of the Oakland Athletics, was the guy who came up with this whole Moneyball system that John W. Henry and FSG wanted to bring to the Red Sox, and approached Billy Bean and had those conversations around. Well, he is considering purchasing a minority, but a large minority stake in Liverpool Football Club. That has been reported by numerous people. It's been known for a long time that FSG were willing to bring in somebody as a minority partner. They didn't want to sell a large chunk of the club or controlling interest in the club, but they always did say that they were willing to take on a minority shareholder if they did feel that it was beneficial to the club moving forward. Now, obviously, there was a good relationship between Billy Bean and John W. Henry. Lots of our American viewers will obviously know that from a baseball sense as well, what was going on with the Oakland Athletics and the Red Sox and stuff like that. But this one has legs, so keep an eye on it. And he already has some football interests. Now, there is more detail on this that I'm not the man to give to you, but he has a fund, he does have money available, and they are looking to invest, and he already has a minority stake in Barnsley and acts as an advisor to AZ Alkmaar over in the Netherlands as well. So somebody that already has dipped his toes in the financial aspects of football, and somebody who are known to the owner. So I don't know how some people will react to this potential news, but I think there might be legs to this. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. And I've always thought that the reason why the owners were looking to bring in a minority shareholder or a minority partner. One, to free up some cash, which of course they could either take themselves as a payoff for some job well done, or they could take some of it, reinvest some of it into the club. It might boost Jurgen Klopp's coffers in maybe a future transfer window. It could help with other, I don't know, stuff around the club. But it's money that would be freed up for the owners anyway. And I think worth keeping an eye on, because the really important factor in this for me is that the owners have never shied away from the fact they've always been open to entertaining the option of bringing somebody in to free up some funds to bring on board. But they said it has to be somebody that brings something to the club, somebody that enhances what Liverpool's reach can be and what Liverpool can do as a brand and as a football club. So, you know Billy Bean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it. I'm sure you've seen the film Brad Pitt as well. So keep an eye on it. Could be potentially massive news for the club moving forward. So just thought I'd bring it to you guys right at the end of the stream. I usually end the stream by just going through and doing some questions and stuff like that. But this is a big story potentially. So I wanted to finish up with that one. Look, I will do a couple more minutes just to take some more questions and stuff like that. Again, want to give you guys a reminder that we're going to have Jan Fjortoft live at 8:15 tomorrow night on the channel to talk about Thiago and transfers and lots of other stuff. You guys will get a chance to put your questions to him, so get your thinking caps on, and we'll pick out the best questions tomorrow and put them to Jan. So again, thank you. But look, a couple more questions before we finish up tonight. What have we got? Will Brewster Elliott become first team bench players, or will they stay in the under 23 squad until later in the season? They will be in and around the first squad. The interesting stuff about Brewster is Leeds are interested in him and they're interested in Divock Origi, but I honestly hope that we keep him at the club, because I'm really excited about Brewster. Got himself a goal obviously in the friendly against Stuttgart, banged in 11 goals I think, and something like 21 appearances on loan at Swansea. Impressed there working on the Cooper as well, and I think ideally Jurgen Klopp would like to keep him at the club, but only if he thinks that there is going to be game time there for the young man, because the most important thing is that Raheem Brewster gets some game time and continues to progress into what is going to be, in my opinion, an absolutely amazing forward, amazing striker for the club. Elliott's a little bit different. He's still only 17 years of age. There's not as much pressure on bringing him through immediately. I think, again, he will be kept at the club. Jurgen Klopp will want to continue to work with him, but a lot will depend on how Klopp has reacted to these players during that training camp in Austria as well. And there is the Salzburg friendly coming up tomorrow, so just keep an eye on the situation. Klopp always likes to give people pre-season, the likes of Grujic, Wilson and stuff as well, to try and impress. There was some talk about a goalkeeper, a young goalkeeper as well, who was he? So Liverpool are considering offering a permanent contract to teenage goalkeeper Xavi Sendon. He left Villarreal in July and joined the Reds on pre-season training camp. He impressed John Achterberg thus far and will further be assessed upon returning to Melwood. That's a tweet from LFC Transfer Room. They quote Lynch of the Standard. There's loads of people talking about this. It is a fact. The young goalkeeper has been training with the Liverpool squad over in Austria. It's thought that Caoimhín Kelleher will still go into this season as Liverpool's third choice goalkeeper, and that this young man will be for the under 23s or the underage groups, put it that way. But again, Liverpool looking to go out there and bring in the best young talent that they can and develop those through. So sometimes you don't see the fruits of your labour until 2-3 years down the line, and Klopp has always said that he wants to leave Liverpool in a stronger place when he leaves than when he arrived, and he is definitely setting us up for a sustainable, successful future, albeit we still have Klopp out till 2024 to enjoy. Thank you, Joanne, for the super sticker. Really appreciate you ending the stream with that one. And look, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, you're going to get 2 bits of content. Firstly, I'll be doing a match reaction video between 5 and 10 minutes after the Salzburg friendly, and then we'll be having Jan Fjortoft on tomorrow night. So look, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, let us know your thoughts on everything we've spoken about tonight. I hope that you're all well, I hope that you're all safe, I hope that you're all enjoying what we're doing. We're always available for feedback if you want to hit us up, AnfieldAgenda@outlook.com or contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. You can get us on Instagram at AnfieldAgenda, on Twitter at the same. My personal Twitter account is @CraigHolden, spelled HOULDEN. Connors is @Mr. Crosby. And look, all of this stuff, membership links and all of that, can be found in the description of the stream as well. I've had great fun tonight as always, folks. Thank you for giving up your evening. Lots of love to you all. Stay well, stay safe. I will see you tomorrow, and up the Reds. Lots of love.